I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
A very warm welcome to you, everybody. We are at the Prestige Hotels and Resorts Curling Classic from Vernon, BC, and we got a bit of a treat for you today. It's Venance with Penticton taking on Jong from Victoria. This is a B qualifier, and we're picking up play here in end number 1. Jong playing the Blue Stones, Team Venance playing the Yellow Stones. Lovely little tap there, lots of action around that center guard here early in the first. Alex Horvath in the hack lining up the run back. Might be over curling slightly. Well, he does get some action, moves them around a bit. And opens up to 4 foot. Eric Colwell's in the hack now for Team Venance. Looks to be lining up, removing the blue stone just to try and lie 3. Makes the hit, rolls at the edge of button. Does leave a couple of doubles for his opponent here. Looking at the more natural inside. Horvath on his in-turn. Trying to catch about a quarter of it. He's going to overcurl a fraction, I think. Does roll on the face and sits in front, so that's a pretty good result. Does look like Blue's lying second shot there. But importantly, it's pretty annoying now for Venance to deal with it.
Hi everybody, my name is Matt Hames and I'm here to do some commentating for this game. We've got
Hi there, Matt.
In the first stand. Just catching up here, so ice looks great.
Ice does look great.
Teams look good. It's actually not a bad result.
Team de Jong starting pretty well here. Matt, can you hear me? Sebastian Robillard with the nose hit. He's sitting on the top edge of the 8. Awkward angle. I misspoke. It's Alex Horvath throwing the 4th stones here. Team de Jong. First time I've seen these teams, so bear with me while we get the lineup sorted out and squared away. Throwing 3rd stones, actually. First in, it's a B qualifier here in Vernon. So a lot on the line for both of these teams. Delicate little hit here for Venance. Gets to nose. Squeaks it by. Nice shot. Opportunity to kill the pair. Probably going to lose the shooter, though, if he goes high side. Makes the double, does in fact lose the shooter. And the complexion of the end changes just like that. Nothing in play. First end. Nice easy chance to find draw weight here. Sweepers pull up. So he's going to have to just cling on the back of the 12, and it does. Bit of a range finder there for Venance. You never want to say a blank attempt is straightforward, but that stone just half on the 12-foot. Jong's not going to have to do too much here to make the blank. Gets a piece, rolls away, and that will be a blank. So one end in the books here in Vernon, no score.
With precision, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget the brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on. Okay, what else? What do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one little piece.
You make moments like these possible.
Welcome back to Vernon. We are in end number 2. This is a B qualifier at the Prestige Hotels and Resorts Curling Classic. Glenn Venance taking on Cameron de Jong. Jong blanked the first, playing the blue stones. He's got a hammer here in the second. Quarter guards up, and it is game on. Stone top 4, looking to put a cap on it. Sweeping for curl here. Want to get a piece of that center line and also want to get some cover on the shooter. And that's a nice shot. Maybe half the shot rock available. I think de Jong originally wanted to make a little bit of a dig play at it. I was thinking about the freeze. I like either of those shots, actually. Braden Carpenter. Pretty good looking line here. And sweep it fully behind the guard. Don't get the freeze, but they do have themselves in a pretty controlling position there, just in front of that shot rock. Yeah, Ollie. A little bit of follow the leader here. Apologies, Eric Caldwell. One just sneaks by the center. Over curled a fraction. I think we would have liked that one to be a little bit more angled, but that's sort of nitpicking, really. That was a good shot.
Hey, Hans, I'm here now and I can hear you.
Hey,
Sorry for
outstanding. Welcome, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. Some technical difficulties on my part, I believe.
Oh, good. Well, now we can properly introduce ourselves to the folks. I'm Hans Frauenlob, and this is Matt Hames. How you going, Matt?
Oh, I'm doing great, Hans. How are you?
Fantastic.
You know, we share something in common. We both grew up in Southern Ontario and then moved out of Canada.
Yeah,
I was
Matt,
more
it was
Southern Ontario. I was more Southern Ontario than you were.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Played
Which
at the
part
Barrie
of Southern
Curling Club
Ontario
a
are you
bunch.
from, Matt?
I grew up in Brampton, so
Oh,
not
nice
that much
one.
far. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Well, speaking of very cool, we got a couple of teams here, and this is great because this is the first time I've seen either of these teams play, and it's always a treat for me to see new teams playing. And having been a competitive player myself back in the day, nothing like a B qualifier, you know? Like
Qualifiers are the best.
they are. You're slugging your way through the weekend to get yourself to a spot here to make some money, and it's all
And
on
you
the
still
line in this game.
got a life. Like that's
Yeah,
the best part.
exactly.
You don't have Saturday off, or you don't have a
That's
day
true.
off because of the A qualifier, but you can get into the money round and you still have a life. So the pressure isn't entirely on. You're not looking at flights yet.
A great opportunity for both of these teams. So it's Team Jong with the hammer here in the second. No score, blank first in.
Yeah, this is the shot in the end, right? That you just kind of blow everything up and you see whether or not it's going to be a blank again or whether or not there's going to be some offense.
Exactly right. Here comes the heat. Corey Chester explodes them.
Very good result because now it's not really an offensive rock anymore. So throwing a center guard on it, you're not looking at generating much of a steal out of this. So you start to think about defense again.
Well, for sure, and you've got overlap corner guards as a bonus. So
yeah,
Venance recognizing the danger on those cornerstones too.
And really, the danger again is that he just doesn't have an offensive opportunity here. Like, you can't really play a tap, you can't really guard it. There's no real good offensive shots, so you might as well look to try to do something. He's trying to lay two. He's looking at force now instead of steal.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to think about going for the force, though. Making a play on the second of the corner guards. That's a tough play.
It's a tough shot.
Gets a piece, gets a little split, moves the Yellowstone into the 4-foot.
So Hans, is there ever? Yeah. I was gonna say, is there ever a scenario where you come around this guard and
heck yeah,
scenario is right here.
Heck yeah,
right away.
Absolutely. Especially when you know it's already in the head of your opponent. You saw him make a play on the corner guard, so you know that he's already worried about the corner guard, so why not whip around it?
Yeah, exactly. You put the corner guard up there for a reason, to go around it. There's a tendency among early curlers to try to sit shot right away, but you don't have to sit shot yet.
Oh, that's the power of last rock.
Yeah.
Alex Horvath trying to hide one here. A little deep, but fully covered. Nice shot.
Pretty good result. Probably going to force a follow. Yep. This is up
shot,
to the. Yeah, go ahead.
No, Matt. I'm just going to say this shot probably dictates whether it's going to be a force or whether it's going to be a 3.
Yeah. Well, this is so important for the sweepers right now, the front end, to make sure that this rock doesn't sit in a spot that you can double those yellows. So it has to either be high or right on the back one. They're just watching it.
It's walking over now.
Yeah, the way it looks pretty good. Maybe just a tad heavy, but mine's great, so it's perfect.
Those are the sweeper savers, aren't they? Just kind of cold freeze the thing without laying a lick to it. Nice shot there by Sebastian Robiot.
pretty much guarantees no blank end.
Exactly. So
A lot of bad things would have
otherwise-
to happen for a blank.
exactly. If it was going to be a force or a 3, well, this is looking much more like a force now.
Yeah.
It's a great shot.
Yeah, it was really good. Key to this rock here is to sit second shot. You really want to be second shot.
We've had a lot of look at rocks down this path in this end.
Should finish pretty hard here. Good judge, good shot.
Pretty nice. Bit of an air gap though.
Yeah,
Might be able to maneuver it out of there.
I think you could probably throw a bit of. You could even crash on the back one, and you're going to be fine. Like, if you hit a third of this rock and you just take the back one, it's still going to go over the top, and you're still going to end up being laying 2, even if you
Maybe
lose your
even 3.
shooter. Yeah.
Yeah, if you lose the shooter too, but you're right. You might even be able to save the shooter in the
Yeah.
back ring.
I don't know if that benefits you in any way.
No, you're probably right. No, I think 2 well separated is good enough for the force, so you don't need to
Yeah.
entice your opponent too much more by cluttering it up. But job 1 is dig this thing
Make it
out.
go
Not
away.
an easy shot
No.
because we've been throwing nothing but draws down here, and sometimes when you add 6 feet to push it, it'll track. So
Well, it'd be interesting to see how hard it comes off this center line. Like we're already off the center line. How much it curls early.
here it comes.
Set her back just a little bit there, but we're still going.
Working it
Really
hard. They saw
anticipating.
the draws really move.
Yeah.
So I think they were just being a little bit conservative just to make
Yeah.
sure they weren't crashing that corner guard. Nice shot. Well read.
Yeah. Yeah. Good call too. Just to anticipate that curl and get her moving. One more time behind the corner and hope for a miss.
Well, definitely committed here to the corner to try and generate a pair and force a half miss at least.
You know, if you can make a perfect freeze here and they perfect freeze, could there be a double for 2 off of the top yellow? It'll be a quarter rock double, but it'll be there.
Yeah, a lot will depend on how they're frozen, the angles of the freezes,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah, yeah.
See if you could pop it out sideways somehow. But yeah,
Right.
as they stack up, the angle gets better for sure. Cameron to Jong trying to manufacture 2 out of not much here.
Basically, get around the corner and hope.
This one's going to have to move a lot late to get a
Yeah.
good freeze.
It's not curling enough to be light, so
And there's the dreaded little half bump. So pretty straightforward exercise here, I think, for Venance. Just ping it.
yeah, just make it go away. And they're looking at rolling under, which, roll under is not bad because then it takes away the nose hit for the 1.
Exactly. If you roll dead behind, nose
behind.
jam, that's a steal.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty entertaining second end here.
Yeah, this is really good. The interesting thing is, I'm a big fan of the out turn. This broom for me that is a hard. It's not an easy broom to hit for an intern.
Matt, you're telling me we got a psychological issue with the intern here?
Just the intern that's just that off. Like the tendency is to try to make sure, I'm sliding a little tight, and to set it back to the line. If it gets on that line, it's never going anywhere. Yeah, I would not be throwing it with this turn. He's obviously
down to
much more
preferences.
accomplished. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
much more
yeah.
accomplished player. So
Did throw that one pretty well. Good looking line here. Looking to stick
maybe just
around, and it will.
overrolled a tiny bit, but not bad. I think it still leaves the nose hit for 1.
Third shot, so this is definitely the nose hit for one if Jong wants to play the nose hit. But you sure as heck don't want to drift it out half a rock wide.
No.
Could wind up stealing two that way.
Nice little control weight hit down the center line. Sweepers can actually. What's cool about being a front end when it's in the center line is that sweepers can watch the center line and see where it needs to be, so they can call line a bit on this.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, and that's a good pick, Matt. It's a real helpful guide for the sweepers.
Yeah.
Sometimes the guys holding the brush doesn't like that too much because the sweepers will wind up calling line right out of hand sometimes because of that, but still want to listen to the person reading the line at the other end.
Yep, lots of inputs.
Pretty decent looking stone here.
Yeah, nice quiet
Control
weight.
weight.
Should sit there nice.
And it does, so it's a single point for Cameron de Jong, and so first on the board, 2 ends of play. De Jong 1, Venance no score.
Offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
There we go. Welcome back. We're at the Prestige Hotels and Resorts Curling Classic in Vernon, BC. This is the B qualifier game between Glenn Venance and Cameron de Jong. Cameron de Jong taking one in the second, but a good force there by Team Venance. Hans Frauenlob here with Matt Hames. And that was a well-played second in.
This one is in the rings.
Yeah, corner guard attempt. Sliding heavy, so that changes the complexion of the end right away.
It's interesting because the center line guard is a little tighter than they probably want it too, so there's this. Oof, this has some contact issues.
He's going to get a piece, but I don't know if he's going to hang around.
My weight was pretty quiet, so.
And that will stick around the edge of the 8-foot. Off in the wing, that's not a bad spot to leave it.
Yeah.
Tough for your opponent to ignore it.
Yeah, it looked like he contemplated playing the in-turn come around and then thought, nah, why? Just hit this.
Exactly. You're going around your opponent's center guard. It's tight to the rings. It's a short run back, and so the percentage is not so great. So I'm just going to elect to remove the shooter. Going to spill off the rings, though. So a free shot here, really. Cameron de Jong.
Yeah, you want to get some good
Chester.
separation here. Get on the tee line.
Yeah, ordinarily you kind of like to leave it front button, you're right, but that center guard is so tight that you do probably want to take it all the way back to the tee.
unfortunate.
laying a brush to it. Well clear of the guard. They're kind of willing it to curl. It's not really going to bury. So now you take it deep. Goes to the back of the forefoot.
It wasn't that far off for maybe the ice, or maybe just got a little wide on the slide. To watch that spot.
Yeah, well, we saw coming back the other way, Matt, on the previous end. From this view towards the hack, the intern draws were really moving off to the wing.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a little bit of extra movement. Got a pretty good idea on this delivery. Sweeping the hold line. It is making a bit of a move here.
Yeah.
Not going to get
No
cover.
rule. It's a pretty good spot, though.
Keeping the play really behind the tee line most of the end here. Corey Chester.
Need this one to curl. Not going to hang around.
Vernon Carpenter working it hard to try and get that a little bit of extra curl, but that one will spill and spring. So now it's Glenn Venance's chance to use that center guard.
Taking just a little bit less ice than on the previous intern come around, but not much. Just a couple inches. So
It's kind of an A-B shot here. You do want to get around, obviously, but
Yeah.
if you're ever to just kind of tick flip that front center guard and spill and push that one off the center line, that's not tragic either.
No.
You'd rather be close to the guard than well by it. Here, Colwell.
They like the weight.
Yeah,
Just
again, they're
not
looking at
making
the
that
track
move.
in the middle of that 8-foot.
Yeah.
Haven't quite found a line yet on this intern side to bury.
It's really just not making any kind of like hard move there. Just a really casual like 3 feet of curl. Maybe even a bit less. Maybe 2 feet of curl there.
So after you've seen that a couple of times, you have to kind of trust your eyes, and maybe you think about going around the other way next time. Alex Horvath.
Real quiet here, real controlled weight.
Yeah. Seems if you get inside the 4-foot line here on the intern, there will be some movement here, and that very nice control weight there, and that's a lovely shot from Horvath. That's a beauty.
That's great. Just really nice weight control there. Good team shot. Good team management. Good shot.
So no real choice here for Venance but to blow the one up in the middle and run it in. Bang. Wilby just about plants it. A little bit unfortunate he couldn't spring that off, but at least it is off the center line.
Are we going to see an out turn here? Think so. Well, apparently not.
That's more to the intern.
We're gonna believe that it curls here.
Somebody's gonna make it. Let's see. Again, down this track, just edge of the 8-foot, just inside.
Just gotta
Watch this one
believe.
really close. Yeah, you do have to believe.
Just at least the last 2 times, guys. This time it'll go.
Let's watch this one very closely as Alex Horvath delivers. Seen a couple track down this 8-foot side, and this one likewise. It's got a little bit better line.
Yeah, it's moving a little bit more now.
Still not going to bury.
Still not scaring that guard, is it?
Nope. Not quite enough of an air gap for an inside double here, but you can certainly play second shot And at least roll on top corner frozen. That seems to be what Glenn Venance is asking for.
I would be very tempted to just whack the guard back into this. I don't think there's a hole there. He just played it.
Yeah, that's absolutely an option.
This has peril written on it. If you took this guard,
well, no real danger of crashing the guard here. It's got tons of weight. Just going to plant nose, really. Tiny inside flip.
not actually
Maybe
not a
magic
bad
corner.
result. Not a bad result because it's tough to hit. And
Exactly.
and
Exactly
stay.
that.
Yeah.
Jong recognizes that. Maybe we just need to go for second shot.
Yeah. We just get it right on top of that one and get it right. If you can bite the top four, just even with your own there.
Trick is, though, we've seen 4 rocks down this intern side here.
Yeah.
Alex made his last one really nicely, but even making it nicely, he was only, well, he wasn't buried.
Yeah.
Maybe half buried. So,
Yeah,
if you're
nobody's
gonna
scared
play
of the
this
guard.
shot, you got to get it there, and nobody has gotten it to that spot on the intern
Yeah.
side.
Right. And nobody's thinking maybe we should try the out here, guys.
Yeah.
You sort of get a little into a groove sometimes in an end. It's like this one for sure will curl.
Saying that,
Danger
pro miss for Cameron here is probably 4 feet light. So if you're going to be 4 feet
Yeah.
light, being 4 feet light on the intern side is probably better. So I like the intern call here. But yes, we haven't seen an intern draw
It is
down this
unless
path
you're
to get
unless
to
you're
the center.
4 feet unless you're 4 feet light wide open.
Yeah, if you're 4 feet wide open, front 8 foot, that's no good. Absolutely right. You have to
Yeah.
have a corner at least behind the center guard.
Yeah.
So intriguing shot coming up here. Who can get to the center line? Shot's on its way.
Not switching, which is interesting.
I don't think it's heavy.
No, it's not heavy, but it also needs to curl.
Sure does. So this one is coming up
Starting
well
to finish.
short.
It's starting to finish. Just get it
Yeah.
underneath that. Just get it. Oh, that's a pretty good shot, actually. Takes away
Takes
the
away
run back.
Yep.
It's probably job one. Can you throw this in a way that spills the yellow on?
Well, you could, and I find myself wondering. Well, Glenn's kind of obscuring the view. But I was wondering if you're throwing backline out turn, if you could get across nose of the yellow second shot, feather it into the blue and move it. But looking at rattling the front here,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you're edge on edge. I'm not sure that you're gonna have the. I'm not sure you're gonna have the weight coming off it.
probably
Now,
not.
Does it
Probably
curl
not.
enough that you could come down and just hit it on the nose and tap it out into the open a bit? Maybe. It's over buried, so you wouldn't get to hit much of it. I think the shot here, play it to get your shooter off. You know, he's trying to get a little cute here. Could risk just nutting it into the blue and leaving it sitting right there.
If you go just off nose, yellow, blue, and you can squirt the yellow on the rings and cover second shot in the process.
Yeah, that's the call.
So it looks like it may be over curling a fraction.
Mike just
Would have loved to save his own shooter, but instead he pushes the opponent's rock into the 12 foot. So
pretty decent result. I think it's going to force him to hit that yellow rock. I don't know. I guess you could try it again. Same shot.
well, the path to the yellow is a little less impeded now, with the stones in the front being repositioned a little bit. So a
Yeah.
little bit more visible to make a play at the yellow stone in the rings now. I think that's what I'd be playing in this situation.
Yeah,
It's a
I would
guaranteed
hit
fourth,
this.
really.
I would hit this 100 times out of 100. Unless you really fully trusted that you could freeze onto your own. I don't fully trust that that's a shot.
No, it's putting a lot of risk on your own back for
Yeah,
not too much reward, really.
right. This is a pretty simple hit, and then they still have a tough shot to score. If you can nose hit this, it's not an easy shot to score.
Well, it's not beyond the pale to think you might be able to get across nose, depending how heavy
Yeah,
you
just
throw
get
it
air
here, and you
inside.
get a little inside flop behind the center then, and it's all on.
Yeah.
So lots of good options here for Jong. Giving it a good hard sweep early just to make sure that the center guard's not a factor. Now they switch gears, and now they're thinking roll.
Yeah, this is a good looking shot.
Now they're going to
gonna
sweep
get-
to finish. This is
gonna get
looking
under.
really good. Great shot.
Oh, that is a great shot.
Jong lies 3. Worth another
Yeah.
look. Take it, Matt.
Yeah, so they're just making sure here, and then all of a sudden, as soon as they know that they're by the guard, they switch and start curling. I could have switched a little earlier, but no, nice. Not so aggressive, but excellent team shot. Excellent communication and an excellent result.
So worst case, it's a force for Team Jong, but steal a 1, steal a 2, very much on the cards here. Tough final shot coming up here for Glenn Venance.
Yeah, with this ice, it looks like he's playing a back 8-foot kind of thing. He's tightened up the ice. So we'll see whether or not with a little bit more weight, it just rides that spot. That's the danger here.
Absolutely it is. Shot's on its way. Final stone of the third end for Penticton.
Still
Glenn
wide.
Venance.
Any curling.
Again, we're seeing that spot track.
Yeah.
And that will track and track and track and go by the works. And it's going to be a steal of 3 for Cameron Jong. Wow. That intern spot claims another victim. Steal of 3.
Yeah.
And it's Jong 4. Venance no score after 3.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Welcome back to Vernon. It's the Prestige Hotels and Resorts Curling Classic B qualifier game between Glenn Venance and Cameron Jong. Cameron Jong with a huge steal of 3 in a tricky intern spot. Hans Frauenlob along with Matt Ames. And Matt, we were talking between ends there. That final stone of Glenn Venance, it was going to be hard to make it no matter what weight you threw down that line.
It was. They had played a bunch of intern draws there that just didn't finish. So I think the call was like a back ring kind of weight, and they tightened up the ice a little bit, but it was a little heavier than back ring. But I'm not even sure that back ring would have curled there, because not much curled. So tough spot, tough shot to be left. They didn't look at any other shot. Now that I think about it, they could have maybe looked at the double off the outside one. Might have, like, again, the conditions call for that, not necessarily the right shot calls for that. But
Yeah, credit to Cameron with a really well managed move, downweight hit and roll on his last shot to
Yeah.
set that up.
Yeah, and honestly, the game is not over. All you have to do is now you start to do the curler's math, right? Let's get a deuce here, boys. It's not panic. We get a deuce, get a force, get a deuce. Now we're back in it. So we can be back in this in 3 ends. And just a couple of misses here and there, maybe turn one of those deuces into a 3. It's important to just keep your heads up.
Yeah, this end going textbook in this situation. Jong throwing 2 into the rings and asking for this third one to be tight. 2 corner guards in response from Venance.
And you got a tiny bit of break because they're not lined up, so you can't really guard. You can't guard both these rocks. You can just kind of throw it up there somewhere. So they're going to have a hit and roll. They're going to have a hit and roll on their first one around either one of these corners. Well, this might come around. They might audible this and come around their own. Come right beside it.
Good pick there, Matt. That's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
Plan B worked out pretty okay. Not what they were going for, but salvaging better rock placement. And as you said, here's a chance for the hit and roll behind the corner.
This is the key. You gotta stay. You gotta stay in the rings here. You cannot roll out. It doesn't matter how hard you throw this. It doesn't matter whether the rocks go out of the rings, but you have to roll buried or roll stay in the rings here. Maybe oddball will go around the other one, guys.
It's over curling, so it's going to plant. This exchange is blue for blue. Does leave their own stone sitting front 12, but they were looking for an outside roll.
He's going to take a run at this double peel, or the peel. The peel is the first shot. Come into the other yellow as a bonus.
Sometimes when these shots are called, you're thinking more about thin double than you are about clearing front, and you kind of whiffed a lot because you're trying to hit it so thin.
You were saying?
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
As advertised.
Good call.
Thank you.
That is when you start to get the dollar signs in your head and say, oh, I can make this thin double. And really what you need to do is actually just throw the weight and hit the brim.
Clear the guard.
Yeah, just clear the guard. Whatever happens after that is gravy, but you got to make the first shot first.
Totally.
Interesting calls here. They're looking at a quiet weight hit and roll. They can only see half of that back one. I don't know. I would maybe consider just coming around the guard. Yeah, I think that's what you want to do here.
Yeah, I agree.
Let them play the thin double guardy things, right? Just play simple here. You need a deuce. Get a simple deuce. I mean, I don't think De Jong's going to walk up and throw a center guard. You don't think that, so just come around the corner guard.
You put up the corner guards and you ask yourself, what's the easiest way to get my stone behind the corner guard? And then the answer to that question almost always is draw it there.
Yeah, exactly. It's easier to draw a rock there than to hit and roll a rock there.
Caldwell. On the outturn path, we haven't seen a lot. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of stones down this path.
He's doing an awful lot of curling.
He's going to make a move late. Might hide a corner. Good brushing.
Yep, not bad. Not bad.
Playable for De Jong.
Yep. Well, you got him throwing hack weights. You got him calling rocks to stay in the rings. Which rocks in the rings are your friends right now.
Alex Horvath lining it up. Saw the flash on the attempted clear on the previous shot. This one is much better weight to control it.
More control of the weight.
Alex having a very nice game.
Yeah, you're going to have to do something about those rocks in the middle now.
Yeah, it depends how badly you want to. You could just play gentle weight on that front yellow and just tap it back, hack weight and push, and just.
Yeah, I mean, You could do a split. You could play a split right now. You could play it. You could try to nut it into that back one and roll your shooter on a bit.
Well, split's a big gamble. Right now, you're looking at 3, and
Well, the danger
well
here
lined up
is,
and easy to guard.
yeah, you want to not have your shooter sit right there, if possible. It's a little outside.
Sebastian Robillard bangs his brush. He knows that was not what they were looking for, and that maybe takes them right out of the end.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle. The struggle is, what do you do now if you're De Jong? Do you?
Well, I'm pretty happy with what I'm looking at right now. I'm at this point, it's green light go for me, and so I'd ignore those corner guards and say, okay,
I
defend
think
this.
so.
Come and get him.
Yeah, I think so.
3 to come. You're looking pretty good here. You throw another one, tight one center guard. What are they going to play?
If you weren't throwing and they were throwing right now, their only real shot is to hit that back one and roll behind the corner guard, because they can't really deal with the top 2 right now. Get rid of them both and keep their shooter in play.
Yeah, that's why I'd be inclined to ignore the corner guards.
I'd be throwing a guard here, or just, yeah. This isn't the worst thing in the world, you know. I've always
If you
said
pick
that.
a corner, it is not the worst thing in the world. You're right.
Yeah,
but
you never regret throwing a peel.
unless you gas it.
That's true.
Just felt to me like in this situation, you've got your opponent reeling already here. You're up 4.
Yeah, they might be trying to hit and roll for a center
Well,
guard.
if you get the hit and
They're
roll for the
trying to
center
do
guard,
it.
it's like a major bonus, right?
Yeah, there's something a little bit demoralizing too, when the other team is just peeling a corner guard that isn't even in play.
Well, for me, this is kind of like letting Glenn off the hook.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You're just saying, here's a nice easy shot for you, bang away.
Yeah.
And he still might get 2 this way, you know? Like
You might get a deuce, yeah. A nice hit and
You
roll
know,
here.
You're just inviting him with a
Even a
chance to
nose
score
hit.
2.
Even a nose hit here.
So that's why I didn't like the shot call of the corner guard heel, because you're just
Yeah.
inviting your opponent a chance to score 2 when they probably didn't have any kind of chance even to score.
That is not an easy rock to get rid of now.
Yeah, and it's a self-inflicted wound, right?
Yeah.
You just let your opponent play that shot.
Yeah. I think the way to do it is to just smash it on the nose and lose your back one.
Yeah, I mean,
Just looking at
yeah,
playing
as
it
I said,
out
I'm just
control.
shaking my head here. This is a situation entirely of their own making.
It doesn't have to be awful. If you just smash that on the nose, you sit right there, you leave them a hit and roll inside, and then you got to run back to get out of the end, right? Because you're not out of this end now, unless like he's thinking about throwing a draw, recognizing that he's kind of in a pickle, and he's not in an entire pickle. He's up 4-0, and he's sitting 2.
Yeah,
But
he's lying too.
there's
I think that's what
chances. They have some chances.
Yeah, they have to remind themselves they're lying too. Exactly that. I don't mind the draw here. I would, of course, like to see this shot on the shot before. You know, it would have been a better call.
Yeah.
But lying 3 here is better, I think, than trying to make a play on the yellow. Because making a play on the yellow, there's danger everywhere you look, every angle.
It's a little bit
This
of a
way-
guess at the ice and the speed. That's about the only thing I don't like it. I don't love about it.
Well, you're right. I mean, it's not an easy shot, and
Yeah.
we've seen this track in the previous end, right? This is the
Yeah.
track that should run straight. Make a gentle move late if there's
Yeah.
any resemblance to what happened coming the other way.
And they have
But yeah.
plenty of ice.
Well, they do. I mean, missing a little bit wide isn't fatal. Lying 3 is
Nope.
better.
Yep.
Yeah, Cameron here having to play a shot that's way harder than he should have to be playing in this situation. So he's going to over curl.
This is going to overcurl. Who knew?
So now, a glimmer of hope for Glenn Venance. Push, push. Yep, I think that is the play. And all of a sudden, you got a chance for a 3 if you make this one great.
Yeah. It's pretty tight, but you can definitely plant that.
Absolutely. What you can see, you just got to squeak that front stone. But you could leave yourself lying 1-3 and 1 and 3 both covered.
Yeah.
You don't want to quite say this is a game shot, but this is certainly a shot to get you back in the game.
I think you still need to throw this with control weight, right? Like really kind of
Yeah.
down weight, because you've only got like half a rock that you can hit, and you need to stay. So it needs to be
Exactly.
very quiet.
Saving the shooters, everything, you're right. And he's got a little bit more than half available. I mean, he's going to have to flirt with that front blue. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So, it's going to have to be really tight to that front blue. But you've got the center line there as a reader for a reading line.
Yep.
And you've got a lot of house to roll to. But I agree. I don't think you can throw anything more than control. And you're probably thinking board plus here.
All you got to do is outcount that top blue rock.
Exactly.
That's it.
It just gotta stay in the rings, even if it doesn't outcount the front blue, but stay in the rings.
And of
But
course,
yes,
it's the back
definitely.
one, but yes,
Yeah.
that's
Tough shot
Got a
coming up
chance
here,
here.
but chance to get back in it here. Glenn Venance.
all the way.
Really pounding this one.
They oversweep it.
Well, maybe they have. It's still got some curling to do. Now they could sweep for curl if they wanted to.
Close.
That is a pretty good shot.
Yeah. Needed to just come up a little bit more.
Yep,
Oh, so
a little
close to perfect.
it was. Still pretty useful, though. Jong is not
Such-
out of the woods here.
Such good weight. They got a little bit of break, the John team, of being shot in the back, but they're still not. Like there is a double for 3 right now.
There is.
Yeah. What you don't want to do here is play this top and just be a little bit high side and jack up a nose hit triple.
Exactly that.
Like they have to be aware right now of the shot that Venance has, right? They have to be aware that his shot is the double. You don't want to make it easier for it. It's hard to hold your shooter and make this double. Not impossible, but hard. More precise.
Yeah, well, I think if you're Glenn Venance, you're thinking you had a chance to throw a double to, if you make it kind of okay, get 2, and if you make it great, get 3. Would you take it? And he'd say, absolutely.
At the beginning of this end, I was saying that they should be saying, just get a deuce, guys.
Yep.
So they would take a deuce in a heartbeat. The danger here. The danger here is tap this just a little bit high side. Tap this a couple of inches high side. Could leave
Yep, you
nose
can
hit
leave
triple.
yourself some bad angles. So things can work great here. Third shot's a good defense mechanism. Absolutely. But you can leave bad angles.
Yeah. If you actually tap this to the top button by like splitting the center line, it could be ugly. Could be ugly.
Shot's on its way. Cameron to Jong. Gonna lob another one in there. And if you're a super defensive, you could just guard the thing, give him a shot at 1. Just trying to tickle and redirect a little bit. A little feather would be great. Gets that little feather, spills, gets that blue a little deeper, which is pretty crucial. Is there a trouble here? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to take it and run at it. Does it maybe come off the back of the yellow and make it too? Does it just?
Well, I think there's just enough room, you know?
I think there might be
blue
just enough
across
room.
Blue across the nose of blue in the back.
Yeah.
Slam blue sideways.
Guard's not
and
really in
pull.
play. If you hit the guard, you weren't going to make it. I think you need to just bite the center line on contact here.
So needs to
I think
catch.
it's a little thicker than that, personally. I think you just need
You need about an 8.
a hair thicker than where he just put his broom. I think you need to be biting the center.
Well,
Contact.
fasten your seatbelts, folks.
Yeah, this is a shot for 3.
Yep, triple takeout attempt coming up for Glenn Venance. Had nothing going. Cameron de Jong elected to try and clear a corner guard. Opened the door for Venance to manufacture something, and here's the chance. On its way.
Maybe overcurled. Close.
1-2, but he stuffs. Steal of 1 for Cameron de Jong, but boy, a sigh of relief for the Jong team.
Yeah.
So close, but it will
That
be another
was.
steal in the books. And de Jong leads it 5-0 here in Vernon.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
They're resuming in the 5th end here in Vernon. It's the B qualifier of the Prestige Hotels and Resorts Curling Classic.
And we're right about the time where you're just so glad that it's the B final and not the C final because you got another chance.
Yes, right now if you're
This
if you're
game's
Glenn
getting
Venance,
away.
yeah, this game is getting away a bit. Hans Frauenlob here with Matt Hames. Cameron de Jong living dangerously there in the 4th end. Had control of the end and then opened the door enough for Glenn Venance to take a shot at a pinball triple. Nearly made it, but stuffed it. So a 4-point swing, and de Jong firmly in control here.
Yeah. They'll go hard for deuce or 3 again here. Throw a couple corner guards, see what happens, and maybe lick your wounds if you don't score. Live to fight another day.
Well, this Glenn Venance foursome, you know, Glenn curled for years with Karsten Sturmey. New team, new combination, and reading before the game, this is the first time I've seen this team play.
Yeah.
They're all playing new positions. It was actually Sebastien Robillard that said to Glenn, hey, you know, do you want to get a team going here? Brought Eric and Matt along, and they've gotten themselves here into a B qualifier, so it's a good team. Sebastien Robillard, of course, lots and lots of experience in Canada. He's represented Quebec, he's represented Ontario.
He's been around
BC.
for so long that we're Facebook friends.
Yeah, that's the mark of a veteran.
Yeah.
Super player, though.
Oh yeah.
Three in the rings. Corey Chester just loading it up.
Yeah, you know, those rocks just make peeling a little tougher. That's all.
Yeah, not quite strewn along the center line like you'd like to have them. But
Yeah. Not where you would walk them down to, but they're not really gonna hurt them.
you know at this point,
We're gonna audible here maybe and go to the back one, play a little tick off the back one.
at this point, if you're Team Venance, you're keeping every rock you can in play. Even if you're fourth shot or fifth shot, you're just accumulating
Yep.
and hoping, really. You know you're going to need a miss, maybe two. So trying to force that miss somehow.
Little
An
board
AB
weight.
option here. Yep.
Yeah, a little board weight here. Tick the guard is fine. Going for the chase.
Corey will have the memory of that flash in the previous end. So
Yeah.
totally okay to go around the guard this time. Nice shot. Picks it clean. Team Jong line 4.
Now I think you maybe consider like a little just a tap. Just tap that middle one back. Keep some rocks in play. Just keep it tap for a corner freeze on that top one. So tap the center line one that's touching the center line. Roll your shooter onto corner freeze onto the other one because it goes like it.
Situations
imagine-
like this, Matt, I always think
Yeah.
about, we used to work with Bill Shearart, great curling coach. And Bill used to have a lovely little saying. He said, in an offensive situation, if you can't think of anything better to do, throw it in front of your opponent's stone.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
I think in this situation, I'd be kind of tempted just to kind of freeze it in the pocket of those front two blues and just let it sit there and see what happens.
I think so. I think you'll like it, if you dead freeze it there. You're still a couple of shots away. I don't hate the freeze. Don't get me wrong. I think you can accomplish a few more things tapping that center line rock back a bit, but it's a more precise shot than this freeze. So they could use a rock in the rings that can't be removed.
Exactly, that's the thing. Got to preserve your rock. That's the whole ball game here.
I hope he isn't late here.
4 feet light would not be good. Well brushed. They do bring it up into the 12 foot.
brushing.
It's in the rings.
It's going to take a run at this thin double A thing too again. He didn't indicate it, but it's in his head.
Yeah.
So
Ice is a little tighter this time.
yeah, he's taking a run at it again.
We're not giving any air this time on the brush. But again, it's going to be pretty close to missing it.
Oh.
Just clips. Bang, bang.
Not bad.
Well.
Not a bad result, actually.
Yeah, got a good result. Hurt in the mouth for a minute there.
Yeah. You hit and roll
Let's clear
behind
away
this.
one side.
So I thought they're looking at hitting and roll behind this. You hit and roll behind this, and you're not. Yeah. Could draw it there too.
Yeah, I know it sounds kind of goofy. I'd be halfway tempted to freeze shot roll.
Yeah.
You're down 5, right? You got to score 3 here, right? You got to score 3.
Well, the thing about this is if you go there where he's tapping his broom, they blast the fronts, then you go around your corner guard. now all of a sudden, you have a chance to bury a couple behind that corner guard. So your hope here by doing this is that they blast the top and get rid of those 2 blues for you. They do your job for you.
Yeah. Certainly need to get this on the rings in a place that's hard to attack for Jong.
Yeah.
And this has been a tricky path.
This has been the really tricky path. Couldn't play the kiss off of. The kiss is gone now.
It's a good looking line here for Robillard. That's the best one that we've seen down that line.
Yeah.
It's going to go deep though.
Well, the only problem with that is that it doesn't entice them to play the top one anymore. I think you're going to see him just pick it. Yeah. If you were shot on the button, he might have tried to get rid of all of them. But now, because it's 5th shot, just think about the pick here. You hope he just misses this and gets a couple of those back ones, and then you still come around the corner guard.
Alex Horvath bringing heat.
I think he's going to get he's going to get one of the back ones.
Spills removes 1. Jong still lines 2. Nice shot. Clears front. And Venance will use that corner guard.
Yep.
Don't mind
not
this
bad.
call. You could also
absolutely.
just draw around, just follow to the one behind the one in the front 8 foot. You could draw to the back 8 behind it. You've still got a natural double there on the 2 blue.
Yeah, this has to
is a
be.
good call.
Yeah, this has to be top 12. Again, it can't really go T-line because then that double might jam on it. Right? Like, because you got to hit that double pretty thin. That top red one pretty thin, or top blue one, sorry. So he didn't indicate just top 12 buried.
This one's well by the guard.
I don't like any part of this.
It's going to slide deep as well. It's going to come all the way into the back 12 foot. It's going 3rd and 4th shot.
Yeah, looks like he's gonna play the double. Some days it's just not going well.
Yeah. As Cameron Jong makes his way down to the delivery end. He's making this double, Matt, pretty much lights out.
Yeah, I think he's probably. He's got all the rock. He's got no pressure. This is a nice, easy, just throw the weight, hit the broom.
I was just going to say the same thing. You're climbing to the hack and you're reminding yourself, just throw it clean.
Yeah.
Not the prettiest slide.
Yeah. Good adjustment, getting it back out there. Skipper's adjustment right there.
Yep. All feel, but as he got contact, just
Yeah,
gets the one.
I think you probably take a run at the hit and roll inside here. Oh, interesting. We could do that too.
Yep. You're going to have to take a risk here.
I'd be more tempted to play the hit and roll inside right now than the hit and roll. Well, it's either one.
And the double angle is very thin, so you're going to have to move a blue
Yeah.
rock now, I think, if you're thinking 3.
I think if you're thinking 3, you play the hit and roll behind that red or behind the top blue. Why do we keep calling it red? You play the hit and roll behind the top blue, and you hope he doesn't make the run back. This shot is like, even, if you make it perfect, I guess Jong isn't going to think, well, let's hit the back one, let's hit 3rd shot and give him 2.
Well, you might. You know?
Well, I mean, yeah, the scoreboard says that's what you do, and they would love that, right? They'd love to come out of this end with a deuce here.
Yeah, yeah. Two means you've got a pulse.
Yeah.
A faint pulse, but a pulse.
You've got a pulse. They ended up coming around to hit and roll behind the corner guard, which is
Yeah, because the backstone's going to be available and open. I was going to say, it almost doesn't matter where you roll here, but, you know, if you can get behind cover, a bit of a bonus.
The only thing I would say is if you roll behind this corner guard, he might just follow you down or split the rings, and then I know
Could do. I mean, if I'm Cameron, I'm
doesn't.
thinking, well, I'll give you 2 all day here.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
not getting 3.
thinking we could close this out this end and go
Oh,
and
for
start
sure.
drinking beers and be qualified.
Yep. It's, force is definitely preferable to giving up 2. There's no doubt about that. Shot's on its way. Looking for a roll. It's going to get close to nose, though. So that's just going to line up a pretty natural-looking double takeout here.
A 0-0 consequence. Nose hit double.
Exactly. Even if you stuff the back, you're probably still lying 2. First time we've seen both of these teams, or at least me, Matt, and I gotta say I've been pretty impressed with Team De Jong top to bottom. They've been solid. A couple of, well, really just one, for me, questionable tactical choice, but other than that, shot execution-wise, they've been pretty solid.
They've been pretty solid. They got a nice break in 2 with that spot. After that, they've been, like you said, a couple of wobble, just one wobble, but they made a lot of shots, and that's the key. They've got themselves in this situation to get nice breaks.
Looking for the
Gonna get
double.
double the other way.
Yes, he will. Nice shot there from Team De Jong.
Yeah. Always in play when you don't have any consequences, right? Just like we can get this both sides, guys, so don't panic. Just manage it. Are we going for the double blank here?
I think we are.
I think we're going for the I'm really frustrated and I want to throw
we're
a
going to
hard
throw
shot.
this one really, really hard.
Been there a
lot
few
of
times. Been there a few times. This is a I need to just get this out of my system shot. So yeah, it looks like we're going for the double blank here. The way this game's going, he's probably going to nut it and shake.
Shot's on its way. Here it comes. Lots of rotation. And we'll just watch it come to rest. And as you predicted, Matt planted it, and that will do it.
Yeah.
So frustrations for Team Glenn
Yeah.
Venance, but congratulations to Team Cameron De Jong. Pitching a shutout, they have qualified. They are into the quarterfinals here at the Prestige Hotels and Resorts Curling Classic. Another steal to round it out. Final score, 6-0. Hans Frauenlob here with Matt Hames. Matt, any final thoughts?
No, the ice is a little tricky. There's some spots there that need to be managed, need to be watched. But other than that, it was an entertaining game, and I'm just so grateful to Curling Stadium for having all of these games on for us to watch. So thanks for joining us, and it was awesome.
Here, here. Thanks very much, Matt. So for Matt Hames, this is Hans Frauenlob. Thanks very much for joining us, and stick around. The quarterfinals are coming at the Prestige Hotels and Resorts Curling Classic on Curling Stadium. Thanks, and we'll see you again.
Bye.
Life. When I clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.